So we got our first kind of early morning session today. I'm switching around the cameras now. I found after yesterday that I actually preferred using the iPhone over my webcam. Just a funny little thing of you spend a little bit of money on webcams and nice microphones, and it turns out no, the phone in your pocket ends up being of better quality. So. But today's session was all about just going through and making some corrections. As you can see, I got little comments here and there. I actually have a second file on a separate monitor, which is why you'll see me looking towards the camera, where I'm actually looking at my notes from the original file and on this one. So I'm kind of going back and forth, looking at what I wrote and my initial impressions when I was going through the story the first time, and you'll see me over here just making some corrections, like making some notes, things to keep in mind when I go kind of back through this again, and also making small corrections here and there. With the story today, it wasn't, again, many fresh words at all. It was pretty, kind of a straightforward, sort of almost like a lazy session, really. Just going through, making corrections, obviously, making notes. The reason why I didn't really push myself, especially with doing rewrites of paragraphs or anything like that today, is I simply had to get up early and get this done, and we had to leave early. So sort of impromptu, but my father basically had asked us to come visit today. And so basically it was one of those things where we got a text last night saying, hey, listen, it'd be nice if you guys came and visited. And for us, basically that meant I had to basically get up, get the writing session in early, and then get going because he's about 2 hours away from us. Any kind of lesson to be taken away from that is simply the idea that if you, as a writer, we tend to prioritize our work, a lot of us, before others, and there's an element of that's smart, right? It is a good idea to prioritize your work above trivial things, but at the same time, the price of really good community is inconvenience. This is not some quote I made up. I heard that some years ago, but it's very, very true. If you want to have strong relationships, strong friendships, strong family ties, whatever, things that really, relationships that really do matter, the cost is going to be inconvenience. It is going to be you as a writer giving up a lot of your time to them. It's going to be, for us, it's me getting up early, just kind of right after sunrise, getting in a good hour of writing, and then driving for 2 hours, visiting, then fighting 2 hours through traffic to get back, and then recording this video here in the evening before bed. That is the cost of community. That is the inconvenience. And on the other side of it is, you keep a good relationship, you make some good memories with your family and friends and all that. No one's ever going to give you a good friendship. No one's ever going to give you and hand you down a good family. These things come from being inconvenienced and you being willing to suffer through the inconvenience to sort of enjoy the fruit of that labor. And for writers, that is important, not just because you want to have a life outside of writing, but also because the writing, while it's your life, it doesn't reward you. The writing is not going to reward you very often. I've kind of mentioned this before in other videos, but it's an important thing to remember that even if you are a prolific writer, maybe every 1 to 2 years you'll get a book finished. That's 1 to 2 years of working really, really hard to finally get a book out. Maybe you do short stories. That's still only you getting a reward every, 6 months maybe? Something like that. it's not a lot. There are a lot of days and a lot of months and a lot of weeks where you will have to live day to day without any kind of reward for the writing. So you need to balance kind of your real life with it as well, because the real life is where you're going to get the day-to-day rewards, that day-to-day satisfaction. It's not going to often come from the work. Yes, naturally, when you're writing, when you're working, you do want to get that jazz. You do want to get that kind of spark from, coming up with a good sentence, a good turn of phrase, a good metaphor, getting a really good chapter done, getting, a whole section that says exactly what you want it to say, getting your story to match how you see it in your head on the page. That's awesome. That's a great satisfaction that you want to have. But remember, you're writing for what, 1 to 2 hours a day maybe? You've got 22 other hours in the day where you've got to find that satisfaction, get that sort of harmony and that day-to-day joy. And it's not going to come from the writing. It's going to come from others and other commitments. And so that's kind of your lesson there, is the idea that as a writer, there's more to it than just the page.